The snow fell in slow, fat flakes over Pinecrest Lane. The kind of quiet December evening that made porch lights look like low-hanging stars. 6 kittens, no bigger than teacups, stepped carefully along the salted sidewalk. They had planned this for weeks. There was Juniper, the calico, wearing a red velvet cape lined with white fur trim, and a bell on the hood that jingled with every determined step. Snowball, pure white and impossibly fluffy, had squeezed into a tiny green elf tunic complete with felt shoes that curled at the toes. Pepper, the black one, wore a miniature black top hat with a sprig of holly tucked in the band. The 3 Tabby sisters, Maple, Cinnamon, and Nutmeg, had matching red and white striped scarves and carried a single battery candle between them like a torch. They stopped at the first house, Mrs. Delgado's, whose porch was wrapped in so many colored lights it looked like a birthday cake. Juniper cleared her throat, stood on her hind legs, and knocked with one careful paw. The door opened. Mrs. Delgado, wrapped in a quilt, looked down and forgot whatever she had been about to say. 6 tiny mouths opened in unison. "We wish you a Merry Christmas," they sang, voices high and wobbly but perfectly together. "We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year." Mrs. Delgado's hand flew to her heart. "Madre de Dios," she whispered. Snowball stepped forward and offered a slightly crumpled construction paper card that read, in crayon, "Thank you for being nice to cats." Mrs. Delgado disappeared inside and returned with a saucer of warm milk and a plate of shredded chicken. The kittens sang Jingle Bells twice while they ate, tails flicking like metronomes. At the next house, Mr. Jenkins pretended to be grumpy. He always pretended, but when Pepper stood on tiptoe and placed a tiny paw on his slipper, the man folded like a cheap lawn chair. He carried the whole troop inside, set them on the couch, and let them finish "O Holy Night" from the top of the piano. Nutmeg fell asleep halfway through the high note and had to be gently nudged awake. By the time they reached the yellow house on the corner, word had traveled ahead of them. People stood on their porches with phones glowing, recording the little parade. The kittens didn't mind. They simply grew bolder. They sang Feliz Navidad for the Morales family, decked the halls for the Patels who gave them pieces of warm naan, and a surprisingly decent Silent Night for old Mr. O'Malley, who cried into his handkerchief and told them his own cat had crossed the Rainbow Bridge last spring. Their scarves were crooked now. The bell on Juniper's hood had gone silent under a layer of snow, and Snowball's left elf shoe had vanished somewhere around Maple Street. None of it mattered. Every door opened. Every heart, whether it wanted to or not, opened wider. At the last house on the lane, a little boy waited on the steps with his mother. When the kittens lined up, tired, damp, triumphant, he ran to them without a word and wrapped his arms around all 6 at once. They let him. For a long moment the only sound was purring loud enough to rattle the icicles on the gutter. Then, softly, they began again. "Joy to the world," they sang, "the Lord is come." And under the gentle snow, every window on Pinecrest Lane glowed a little brighter, as if the whole street had decided, without quite meaning to, that Christmas had officially started tonight.